Hey guys, welcome back to Banter Bets and BPL podcast. Gentlemen, ladies, anyone listening, this is officially a positive betting podcast. We had some tough times in the middle of this season. We hit close to, I don't know, what were we, Sandy? Negative 300 at least?
Yeah, personally at 200, so yeah.
Yeah, not just Sandy, yeah. The rest of us were all negative. We all had a positive week. Marco comes in clutch with $118. This podcast is up $92 on the season. I didn't think I'd see the day. Brother Keegs, Cam, what do you guys have to say? Give yourselves a pat on the back.
Yeah. I don't know why, but I really think that I've fulfilled this signing, because at first I was working my way into the league. I went down to minus $90, if you guys can remember. That was 4 weeks ago. And now I'm up 45, and I feel like I finally found form. And I'm just happy that I was able to provide for my manager and the team.
All right. Brother Keegs?
I got a still small negative, so I'm not too proud. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the pod total took a nosedive from here on out.
The game of runs for sure. And we celebrated this positive last couple weeks, and we're on a huge high. And so we're bringing on one of our favorite guests, and it just happened to coincide. Our run in form, this pod coincides with one of the worst runs in form of Liverpool. So our father, who art in Thunder Bay, Bill, Dad, welcome back to the pod.
Thanks for having me.
We're going to get into the
100. Was Marco? You said Marco was 118 last week.
Marco was 118. He hit.
Did we just blow over that?
We did. Well, I guess we did. Yeah, Marco's not back, but I don't know. The guy comes in. He's the super sub. He comes in, scores 118, and then he'll be off for a bit. Just like in real soccer.
What did he have? What was his action
had
last week?
A Fulham over Liverpool in a winner draw, parlayed with West Ham win, parlayed with Leicester win, and Leicester $25 to win outright. So.
And he picked up Havertz in fantasy, guys. Just a genius.
He was a genius this week.
Yeah, for a guy who always says stupid stuff, Marco's really smart. He's having himself a good year in betting and in fantasy. Good for that guy.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna get into the Liverpool stuff. We're gonna get into everything. We're gonna go in order as per usual, and we'll start things off with Newcastle, Aston Villa. Not the most exciting Friday afternoon game. And we'll go to Brother Keegs first, because it's looking increasingly likely like Newcastle could be going down with their owner situation. And the fact that Mike Ashley is one of the worst owners in sports is well documented. He wants to sell the team. No, he won't sell it, though. He won't buy players now. If they go down, Keegan, and he can't sell the team now, this is a disaster for Newcastle. Are we looking at a Sunderland 2.0 here? Are we going to be watching Newcastle till I die?
Well, I certainly hope so, because that was probably one of my all-time favorite shows. So if that's what comes out of it, then I'm definitely rooting against Newcastle here. But it was really interesting the way that they decided to do things. They had one of the best managers in the world, and decided not to invest in any players while he was there. And then he left, and they hired some bum, and then decided to finally buy some players. I think when they had Bruce, what did they buy? Almiron, Saint Maximin, in the first season. Joelinton as well. And then this season they got Wilson. They picked up Fraser, who was a free agent, I believe. Jamal Lewis as well. So they decided to invest in the wrong manager, and some pretty poor decision making. But if you ask me, and then I actually found this online, and this is amazing to me, but none of the players in their club have relegation clauses in their contract to reduce their wage if they get relegated.
Oh my! This is a Sunderland 2.0.
Yeah. So basically, if they get relegated, I imagine Saint Maximin's probably making a lot of money. They got a lot of guys in there making a lot of money. So it'll be interesting how they some creative accounting probably to get some of these guys off their books. And
that would be a disaster.
But yeah, that would be a disaster. But I mean, they are a big club, so I mean, if they're able to, sell their team for parts and hopefully salvage some of their quality players, then you might see them come back eventually.
Yeah. Hey, Sunderland are a big club. Ipswich are a big club. Both of those guys are in League One. Dad, can you imagine a camera crew following around Mike Ashley as his team gets relegated from the championship? Can you imagine anything more entertaining than that?
No, I think that would be fantastic, especially then if Sunderland do make it up next year.
Yes.
And you get the Tyne Weir Derby would be awesome. And
Yeah.
maybe the two cameramen for each team could battle each other as well.
Yeah. We could have a couple hardcore fans that you can't even understand. Keegan, the taxi driver, no one could understand that guy in Sunderland until I die. Had to turn
I
on
just watched the second season on my midnights. So I just finished watching the second season a couple of nights ago. It was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great show for sure. We need some more of that. Across the dugout, I guess, will be Dean Smith and Aston Villa. Kind of a boring team without Grealish. Not much to talk about, to be honest. So my question for you, Sandy, is what team's Grealish going to be playing for next season?
I mean, I don't think he'll be playing anywhere else because, as Cam so astutely pointed out last week, Villa is not as good without him. So they'd be stupid to sell him.
Let's just keep twisting what I'm saying over and over again. It is what it is, right?
So I can't imagine him be going anywhere. But if you were to go to, say, a top 6 team, I was thinking about it, and I would like to see a Grealish Mourinho duo there. I think that would be quite the clash of personalities.
Yeah,
that would be personally what I would be rooting for. Maybe Spurs gets in the action, goes for a little splash. Little clashing of personalities there. So that's what I would be betting on.
We'd be seeing Grealish getting 20-minute cameos off the bench in the League Cup. That would be horrible. Him and Dele Alli would be playing FIFA together. That's about all the action they'd be getting.
You don't think you think Mourinho would dislike Grealish to an extent he wouldn't be able to play him?
No, I'm just kind of.
I mean, do we know?
Fun at Mourinho,
I don't know.
But you never know.
I don't know. The jury might still be out in Grealish. I mean, he had a little bit of a rambunctious youth, but I mean, he seems like he's settled down a little bit.
Rambunctious. Who among us hasn't, right, Sandy?
Yeah.
Can I just say this about Grealish and Villa?
Yeah,
they're so boring without him that when he was sitting in the stands, the camera just kept finding him sitting on his phone looking during the game. That's how boring Villa are without him, that he isn't even interested in watching them.
Oh, he may have been taking himself out of his fantasy team.
Yeah, either that or watching Sunderland till I die. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just hoping, Sandy. I know I'm playing you in the big fantasy FA Cup quarterfinal this weekend, which has been fun, by the way. And I'm worried about the Martinez clean sheet, best goalie in the league, going up against Newcastle. It's got trouble written all over it for me.
Yeah, I actually went and picked up a Newcastle defender. As crazy as that sounds, because I think Grealish is out. He's got the red flag for me. So
that's great.
Those are super reliable. So make sure you follow them.
Love to hear that.
But I'll be starting them regardless. Still Keegan Hazard tactic. Just throw him in there and hope.
Yeah, fair enough. Hey, Kane was red for me earlier in the season, and I didn't start him, and then he all of a sudden played, even though he was red in fantasy, and got a goal. So there you go. All right, moving along to Chelsea and Leeds. This will be a fun early morning game, I hope. And start of March break for me. I'll be getting up for this one. I'll be able to do that. Cam, Chelsea have looked really good since Tuchel came. Maybe not looked really good, I guess, but getting good results, steady results. Are they a lock for the top 4 at this point, with teams like Leicester slipping away, Liverpool slipping away, Tottenham and Arsenal too far away probably, Everton unreliable? Is Chelsea a lock?
I would say at this point, I've really enjoyed what Chelsea has done. I love that they brought in Tuchel. He's been really keen on the defensive portion of Chelsea, and it seems like he hasn't really even been worried about any attacking. They get their 1 or 2 goals, and that's all they need, and then they end up getting their clean sheets. And I think that as of now, I would say yes. I think they are a lock for the top four. With other teams like I think Arsenal is long out of the top four race. Tottenham's been looking good with the revival of Bale, but yeah, I think that what Tuchel's done defensively, bringing back Rudiger, playing the back five, has been really effective for Chelsea, and he'll take them into the top four. So yeah, lock.
You just love to see a manager come in and make a team nice and boring and get some results, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it kind of sucks that that's the case, but I guess if you're a Chelsea fan, you don't really care as long as you're making the Champions League.
Yeah. I don't know. This is a tough test, though. You know where my money will be in this one. I'm looking forward to getting up and cheering on Bamford and the boys
Yes,
Saturday
please.
morning. All right, Dad. It's been long enough. I kind of mentioned Liverpool in this one, and Liverpool is obviously having a pretty rough season. We'll talk a little bit more in depth about them, but on the Leeds side of things, I watch Leeds, and I know you watch Leeds most weeks, and it's kind of a team that I think a lot of us on the podcast watch, and they've got many players who impress. Who's the one that you would pick out that you would want to play for Liverpool that could help them next season get back into maybe a title push or at least solidly in the top four?
Well, that's a good question. I think it would be nice to have Patrick Bamford on Liverpool. I
Yeah,
don't know if he'll be starting all the time, but he would certainly be different to what they have. And you could see with the struggles that they've had this year, sometimes it'd be nice to be able to have a bit of a different plan B. Uh, it's a shame they got rid of Danny Ings. I could understand that. I don't think Bamford would go to Liverpool, to be honest, because I don't think he'd play very much. So he'd have to be, I think, coming off the bench. I don't know how he'd probably play more than Origi, you would think, but I think Bamford would somebody I'd like to see there. The other one who I think would be interesting would be Stuart Dallas. When you think of Liverpool, like in their pomp the last few years, you think of Robertson and Alexander-Arnold bombing down the wing and making some plays. So I think if you got a guy like Dallas, he's got more goals. Like, what has he got? About 5 goals this year. 2 Liverpool fullbacks. I think maybe have 2 between them.
yeah.
So I think he'd look pretty cool in that squad going up and down the wings. If he could get 5 goals in the Leeds side. But mind you, Leeds are an attacking team. But I think he'd look pretty good. And I think Rafinha would be not
he's
a
been
bad player.
impressing lately.
Yeah. So I don't know exactly the position that he would maybe go in for Liverpool, maybe playing in like just behind the front three or something. But yeah, I don't know. Out of those 3 players, I think the most fun one to be there would definitely be Stuart Dallas. But yeah, I think if I had to only pick one, I'd probably pick Bamford just to give them something different.
So you mentioned Liverpool's plan B. Do they not have a plan B because they don't have the players for it? Or do they not have a plan B because Klopp is stubborn and won't try something different?
I've been reading articles and going on podcasts and seeing people's opinions of it. And I don't know. Like he certainly seems very stubborn. I think they did try to look to get a plan B. They brought in Diogo Jota to play. I don't know if he necessarily was always going to be just playing in the front 3 to spell one out. I think wasn't there a couple of games that he played in behind the front 3, like the false 9?
He did fit all 4 of them in a couple times, yeah.
Yeah, and then I think Thiago was there to play farther forward than he's been. So I think, and maybe to control the games a little bit more. But I think he's had to play deeper because they've moved their midfield players back farther. So it's tough with so many games that to get the time on the training ground. But Pep did it with Man City. Pep, I think, he struggled at the beginning of the year, but he implemented a new way to play the game. I think he looked at the way the season was going and did it, where I don't think Klopp did that yet. I think he, at the time moving Henderson and Fabinho into the center back spot seemed a great idea because they were winning games, right? but they were just winning 1-0, 1-0, and you can't always do that. The luck always ends up catching up to you, you know. And I think then it's really hurt his midfield. I think maybe if he'd have done it over, a do-over again, he might have done something different. You know, maybe he would have left those guys in the midfield and just live or died with your center backs. You know, playing the young center backs. And in a way, I wish he would have done that, just because when you just play the same players all the time, I think the players that are on the fringes don't really feel that they're ever going to get a proper chance. You know, probably all of us have played on a team where you felt like, well, it doesn't matter what we do in practice, like we're not getting in the game, or those guys, doesn't matter what they do in the game, they're not going to get dropped, right? And I don't think that's a good long-term, and I wonder if there's a little bit of that's happened with Liverpool this year, you know? So I think it'll be really interesting. Like, as a Liverpool fan, I could hardly wait for the season to get over and be done with, you know, because it's just looking terrible. I don't even know if they'll make Europe, but I think, you know, Klopp deserves the chance. There's a few teams that allow coaches to get a second chance. I would hope that he'd be smart enough that he's learned a lot from this year on what to do different. You know, when at the end of the year, when they sit down and analyze everything, what worked, what didn't, what could we have done. But yeah, if you're going to stick with that a high line again next year and not have any immediate results, I think he could be potentially in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah. And there we go. That was pretty in depth on Liverpool. I do have some more questions for you, but we'll move it along. And we'll get on Liverpool a bit more later. But I do think you did highlight three of the, in a season of lots of bright spots for Leeds, I do think you highlighted three of the brighter ones there. So yeah, I think that'll be a fun game. I like watching Leeds play, especially against a team I don't like Chelsea. Just fun to cheer for Leeds. You can do that when you're a Canadian Manchester United fan, because we don't know of the actual rivalry between United and Leeds, which is apparently quite big. All right, Brother Keegs. After this fun one, firecracker in the morning. Crystal Palace at home to West Brom. Is this the most boring game in the history of the world? Will this be?
Burnley Palace might be a little boring.
Yeah, but we don't have that game this weekend, Sandy. We have this game right now. Looking at it, is this the most boring game ever, Keegan? Is that how it'll be remembered?
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised. They both combined for the two lowest expected league.
Not this shit again.
Hey, the only thing that I took from Bill's huge rant was at one point he seemed like a bit of an expected goals truther about how Liverpool were only narrowly, their luck can only take them so far before it restores. That's what I took from his big rant. Well, and then I was kind of thinking, well, maybe it won't be 0-0 because both teams might look at this game as something that they can get points from. But I think Crystal Palace are comfortably safe and West Brom are relegated, so they don't really even have.
Yeah. Keegan, the managers, these two managers, they don't know how to look at a game like that. They can't.
Yeah, true.
Maybe Zaha might do something, and that might be the only thing.
Yeah, he'll do a step over. That'll be.
Yeah, when you guys, like, was it 2004 that we took you to that Man United Bayern Munich game in Chicago?
Yeah.
That was the most boring game ever in the world. Nothing would ever be as boring as that game.
The highlight of that game, a guy looked like he might cross once and then played it back.
Yeah. 35 yards out on the wing. He looked like he was going to cross. It was about the 70th minute. And then he stepped on the ball and passed it backwards. And that was the highlight of the game.
Just 90 minutes of possession drills.
Yeah. Well, hopefully maybe there will be a cross completed in this game. Someone will look up and say, hey, why not? It'll be in the 90th minute like they did Townsend sending in a prayer to Benteke, and that's like the other week there. All right, yeah. Maybe I'll take a nap for that one. And for the West Coast guys out here, Sandy, we won't be up too early for that one. Moving along, Everton Burnley. I enjoyed the Chris Wood goal on against Arsenal. That was funny. Xhaka, it's typical of the man. He's got his place. He already had his place in the stupid 11 locked down, but Just keeping going, putting in his resume for captain. And then the Chris Wood shrug celebration was awesome. Sandy, which was more iconic, the Michael Jordan shrug back in the 90s, or Chris Wood shrug after scoring an accidental goal against Arsenal, present day?
Yeah, I love this storyline here. You couldn't find a more polar opposite player to Michael Jordan than Chris Wood, little lunch pail player for Burnley. And then, and I was actually pretty surprised that didn't get a little more media attention. I didn't see this goal live, so I had to go watch it later on, and I couldn't even find the goal. There's absolutely nothing about it. No one talking about it. Can you believe that? I guess it's just the disconnect between the American and the European media, but
yeah,
I can imagine if like Chris Wood did like the Ronaldo celebration, or like some plain Jane in the NBA did the Michael Jordan shoulder shrug, that would be all over the place. But this one just kind of flew under the radar. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Hey, we're probably the only podcast making that connection. So
maybe The Last Dance isn't on British Netflix yet.
No, it's probably not. See, we're covering. We got The Last Dance. I think most of us have watched, and Sunderland Till I Die. So, this is the podcast where you can get analysis like this. Who's better, Chris Wood or Michael Jordan? Bonus question, Sandy. On this Burnley team, who comparing to the Bulls of the '90s, who is the Michael Jordan?
Who's the Michael Jordan?
Yeah, of this Burnley team.
Are we talking like the Michael Jordan who's the best player? Or are we talking about like the Michael Jordan who's the biggest asshole? Because I'm pretty sure
you can take that as whichever way you want it. I'm leaving you freedom on this one.
Well, we all know who pulls the strings is our boy, our Icelandic wonder boy, Gudmundsson, when he's healthy.
The pinnacle of Burnley.
Yeah. As far as the dark side of Michael Jordan, I don't know. I'm probably gonna say, I feel like Tarkowski's got to be a bit of a mean streak to him. He's what gets the boys going.
Yeah. If who's the Rodman? Who's the guy that Jordan has to go to the hotel in Vegas and after he's disappeared for a couple weeks and drag him out to practice?
I don't know, dude. Yeah, I really don't know much about these Burnley players, unfortunately. I don't know much about their livelihoods.
We'll have to get a documentary on the Bulls.
There's a serious lack of media diving into the personal lives of the Burnley players.
Yeah.
To really look into that.
I was pushing you a bit too hard. Burnley seems like the last team that would have a Dennis Rodman on it. So there you go. Moving across, we got Everton. Cameron, Everton at home as a favorite, but the number's still pretty good. This is the classic can't trust Everton spot. But did they suck you in? Be honest. Do you trust them?
They did not suck me in.
Ooh.
I was actually going to bet on a draw in this game, but I shied away because I bet on Arsenal Burnley draw last week, and I thought there's no way I'm going to get 2 Burnley draws in a row and hit both. So I stuck away from this. But you hit the nail on the head, didn't you? This is a perfect. Everton looked okay. Richarlison's been kind of back in form. So let's bet Everton because the number's decent and Burnley hasn't been as prolific as they could be. I don't think that they can find a result here, Everton. And yeah, this is a no trust, no touch, do not enter territory here. Stay away. Stay away.
All right, fair enough. Moving a little bit later in the day, Fulham and Manchester City. So both sides of this, Cam, we got you here. Why don't you go on a Man City rant? And by the way, you're welcome. 2-0 win away, Manchester United. Thank you very much. I'll let you rant now.
Thank you. So where do I even begin? The first thing obviously has to be the penalty, because that's giving away a penalty or conceding that early.
Not much that happens
in any matter. Yeah. Conceding that early in any matters is tough for any team because going down a goal changes your outlook, your tactical view on the game. So the fact that I look up, this is a true story, by the way. I'm making a yogurt parfait. Okay, I'm at my house making a yogurt parfait. The game's on. This is true. Wait.
I don't believe it.
Okay, making a yogurt parfait. I'm in my house, making it. I look over, balls. Manchester United are on the left wing. I think Luke Shaw had the ball actually, looking up to play the ball forward. I'm like, I verbally say, okay, nothing's happening. Turn to go grab orange juice. I look back, penalty. I'm like, how is this fucking possible? There's no way. What the hell? Honestly, what the hell was Gabriel Jesus doing? Because if you watch the replay, because I had to go back and watch it in live time, then I froze it and watched the replay like after the penalty was scored, rewatch it, and then I had to watch it a third time at halftime. And Anthony Martial is surrounded by 6 City players, 6 Manchester City players, 2 center mids, 2 defenders, or 2 center backs, and João Cancelo coming inside. So why the fuck is Gabriel Jesus tracking back 30 yards to come make that tackle? And it wasn't even I was like, Gabriel Jesus needs to be sold instantly. He is nothing but an absolute disgrace for Manchester City. Like, that was disgraceful. It made no sense.
You drop him from your fantasy team?
I don't have him on my fantasy team, but he would be, if there was an opportunity to take him out of the entirety of fantasy, nobody gets him, I would do it because he is that awful. Like, no human person deserves to have Gabriel Jesus on their fantasy team. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, this is another classic Manchester City, and it happened against Liverpool when they played against Liverpool and Fabinho scored that screamer ball. This was last season. Do you remember that? And they won 3-1, Liverpool? Yeah. You must have remembered, right? That was yeah, right?
That game was Liverpool's last home win.
It might have been. In this game, the ball gets played into Jesus. He sets it up for Rodri, getting screened by the defender. Goal is moving right to left, open, far corner. I could have scored that. I could have passed the ball into the net from 18 yards out, inside 18 yards, 16 yards out. And he hits the corner of where the crossbar and the post meet. And off that goal kick, they played up to Luke Shaw, who I have no idea what João Cancelo was doing because he sprinted to the ball like Luke Shaw was going to do some flick, some evasive dribbling move, and he didn't. He just received the ball and took a touch forward. I don't know what João Cancelo, if he had a stroke mid-fucking run. And then they dribbled down, again, played it to Marcus Rashford, played to back to Luke Shaw. Like, the finish was great. He used defenders, screens on Ederson, put it through their legs. Like, I have nothing from when Luke Shaw passed half, but that's a classic Man City, missing a chance that you need to score and then conceding instantly after on just pure stupidity from a fullback. So and then after that, when it was down 2-0, I was like, both these goals were preventable. Not only that, both the goals were preventable and we should have scored. And then on top of all that, I look up and I have Raheem Sterling in fantasy. Everybody knows that. And Kyle Walker opens up his hips and plays a beautiful ball across goal. And I was thinking, oh my God, perfect. It's going to be 2-1. We're going to come back. And he misses from 5 yards inside the 6-yard box, 5 yards out, hip height. Like, you're a professional player. And I was like, what the fuck is Sterling doing? How do you miss that? And then I recall when he missed in the Champions League against Lyon, he missed a similar chance. So it was just all around. I was angry the entire game.
You got to make different chances for him.
It's. I would never understand that portion of the game where you're able as a player to score the most difficult of chances, and when these easy chances comes in, that you probably have more repetitions than the harder chances in training, because that's what you're working on. That setup is probably practiced thousands of times. That in-swing a ball across behind the back four in front of a running in as the striker or Raheem Sterling coming in from the wing. I'm probably 1,000 times, probably 10,000 times in training, and you miss those chances. And yeah, at the end of the day, I can't even. I applaud Man United for a flawless victory, for them, but I can't help but I can't even be sorry for City because they punished themselves. Everything that happened was a City error. So yeah, that's it. That's my rant on Manchester City against Manchester United, that they lost 2-0.
That was kind of like the time that you applauded Bill for a flawless victory against you in fantasy and then took it right back immediately.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it's a Manchester United flawless victory for their standards, because after they were saying, Bruno Fernandes after the game was saying that they played their best soccer. That was a perfect Manchester United game. And I'm thinking, if that's a perfect United game, then that's great for Manchester United. But that was Manchester City's worst game. That was a worst performance for Manchester City. So
What a combo.
yeah, the
Guess that's
the
why
disconnect. But
So my
I don't
follow-up
know.
question to
That's all I
that
can say.
rant would be, how's the orange juice? How was the orange juice?
The orange juice was actually good because my dad bought me a juicer here, like so I just have actual oranges. I make my own, which is nice.
Oh,
That was a couple little subtle flex for Cam for all our lady listeners. He's single, I think.
yeah, he's single. He's got his own juicer.
And yeah, his own juicer. Not a big deal.
Yeah, for all the millions of the viewers we have,
listeners out there.
of all the listeners and viewers. Yes, I am single and I have a juicer if you're into that. And there you go. You know our emails. You can always email the podcast.
I mean, there's no other reason we're sliding that one in.
Well,
but yeah, that's the rant. That's all I have for them.
Keegan, any thoughts on that?
and it was a somewhat entertaining and long-winded rant, but just for the listeners, they come here for reliable journalism, so I have to, unfortunately, I feel the need to correct Cameron. The second United goal actually came from a Henderson throw, not a goal.
There
Was it an overhand throw or an underhand throw?
It was an overhand throw
after, because I was watching it and he goes to fake it to one side and I'm like, no, don't play it there, we're gonna lose it. Fakes it to the other side, no, don't play it there, we're gonna lose it. And then he just whipped one out to Shaw, who did the rest. So
and was there any word? Is there any word on which juice Henderson had for breakfast that morning, and possibly did he have a yogurt parfait, Keegan?
I do not know, and because of the reliable journalism we offer, I do not want to speculate.
The jury remains out on that one.
Thank you. I did forget about that, yeah. But the Rodri miss and the United goal happened, I think it was 2 minutes apart. So
yeah,
it must have happened right away. But anyway, you're right. It was a throw.
All right. The Fulham side of things, because there is two teams in this game, and Dad, I'm going to bring you in here to, I don't know, did you want to give Fulham a bit of credit? They've been playing well lately. They just another team that was gone to Liverpool and win.
Yeah, I think they deserve it. Like at the beginning of the year, I thought they were certainly going to be dead last, and I think Scott Parker probably would have been pretty well odds-on favorite to be the first manager fired. But I think they did well. Like they picked up Lookman, who I quickly snatched up in fantasy, thinking I had a great move here, and then used my heart badly and got rid of him when he made that stupid penalty. And I think I traded him to you, Liam, and you've dropped him since then too. And so yeah, it's a bit of a regret. But you look at it, I think he's done a good job. I think he's recruited well. You know, I think Loftus Creek was a good one. And
does he play on the same team as Connor Quaddy?
Yeah,
Quaddy.
Yaki. Yeah. So, but I think that was a good bit of business. They got Josh Maya from our favorite TV show, our favorite TV show.
Brazilian.
And, I mean, he's only scored in the one game, but I think he gives us something different. And I think the other thing is I know on this pod, Liam, at the beginning of the year, you said Mitrovic is the certain to play because he's the one that's going to score the goals, and he wasn't producing. A veteran player on probably a lot of money for that team, and he still put in the players that he thought were going to do it. And I think done really well, Scott Parker. You know, they made themselves tough to beat. They're a strong defensive team. Go look at their fantasy. I think 4 of their top 5 players, players in fantasy, are the defenders and their goalie. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it usually can mean either one or 2 bad things. Like either you're doing so bad that you are getting the points, but I think they're playing well, and I think it would be a shame if they went down.
I agree. Yeah, Josh Madra, by the way, right up there with Michael Schofield tied for maybe my favorite TV character ever. And with it for his leading role in Sunderland Till I Die season 1, right?
I was more of a
season 2,
both of them actually. But I was more of a George Honeyman fan. More of a hard hat, lunch pail kind of guy. Worked
Yeah.
hard for everything. So
Yeah.
What
Alrighty.
what about the Irish guy? What was his name? Yeah, I was hurt the whole time. Finally came out at the end.
Johnny Williams, are you thinking? He's
Yeah,
Welsh.
Johnny Williams. Oh, the Welsh guy. Yeah, Welsh guy.
Yeah.
He's a class character as well.
Yeah, he was a class act for sure. Lots of time in the treatment room. All right, moving along to Sunday, we got a South Coast derby or a South Coast. I don't know if it's a derby. South Coast battle, and I look at these two teams, Keegan, and I can't help but think. Imagine if Brighton had Danny Ings. How high would they be flying if they had just Danny Ings that they could handpick from Southampton?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I mean, I think that there's two reasons that they play so well and don't usually get the results. And the most obvious one is that they can't finish. And then the second one is when they have leads like against Leicester, they typically give up the leads. Sorry. Combination of, I guess, bad defending at times, in this case, in the last case, it was very poor goalkeeping at the end, which won our podcast a lot of money because I think we were all on Leicester.
Yep.
So I think obviously having Ings would solve one of those two problems. So I think they would solve half their problems. So they'd probably be half as far up the table and easily be mid-table at this point.
Hey, Keegs, is there a in baseball they have like the wins above replacement stat? Is there like a soccer stat that measures players, I don't know, value in that respect? Or is it just, are we just sticking to XGs? That's all they got in the pipeline.
I mean, I imagine there is somewhere in the deep dark corners of the statosphere. But yeah, I'd be interested to see what the wins above replacement would be for Ings.
Yeah, it would be fun that would be a fun stat to have. We could probably pick a few of them out. The Jimenez's, the Ings, I don't know, Bruno.
If it isn't out there, maybe we should patent it.
Yeah,
let's do it. Let's work on it.
We can just keep it kind of shady math, and we can just it can actually be opinion, and we'll just be like, oh yeah, Jimenez is a four wins above replacement. You can trust us. Very good, very good. All right, we'll move along to I don't know. I got nothing else on Southampton. They seem to be, you know how there's always those teams.
Chase back.
Chase back. Maybe Sandy, if that's all you want to say on that. Che Adams.
See the goal? He's got a beautiful goal called off last week in City.
He had a beautiful goal scored against the first game against Sheffield United.
A beautiful goal scored, yeah. And then he had a tap or a lucky goal against City, and then a beautiful goal called off. So hell of a week for Che Adams. It's been a while.
Southampton is one of those teams that I think they're the first. They can claim to be the first team on the beach with nothing to play for. Usually, it happens in April that teams are got nothing to play for. Southampton's won the race. They got the good spot on the beach. They've laid down their blanket, got their sun cream on, maybe ordered a Corona from the tiki bar.
One of those notorious England South Shore rock beaches.
Yeah, I think there's beaches on the south coast of England in the summer.
Super windy in Lockstone.
Yeah,
I feel like I don't see a lot of pictures of people in England hanging out on beaches.
Yeah, well, they're in Ibiza or something.
Yeah.
All right, moving over to Leicester at home to Sheffield United. This is a low line, I think, or a high line for Leicester, 1.5. I expected them to be like a 1.2. My question for you, Sandy, is Leicester. So we always talk about big six, and traditionally that's Manchester United, Man City, Chelsea, Arsenal, Tottenham, Liverpool. Have Leicester made this a big seven?
For now, yeah, I think so. It's kind of a tough one to say because they've done some really tidy business of late. They brought in some good guys, like Madison Barnes. I don't know. They tend to make good purchases, but I think when Vardy retires and when this era is kind of done, they're going to be hurting a little bit. I think he's going to be tough to replace. And he's kind of been like the poster boy for like that team since like their little magical run. They just kind of propelled them into this nice little couple of year period, but I think once Vardy's gone, you have to look for a new striker and replace him. I think they might take a step back a little bit. So I'd be watching out for that if they can kind of replace him there. But for now, I think they're probably top 6 bound. Will Vardy still banging him in, chatting shit at his best?
Well, Vardy
Doing his
does have
thing.
a 3.46 wins above replacement, so you make a good point there. Yeah, all right. Anyone got anything on Sheffield United? They're on the beach too, but they're on the championship beach for the losing teams.
And it looks like Sheffield Wednesday is going to get relegated from the championship, so they won't even have a derby to look forward to next year.
Jeez.
Tough season for the citizens of Sheffield, no matter who you support.
Dark time for a great footballing city.
Well said, Keegan. Maybe you can be the eulogist for the Sheffields at the end of the season. Get your speech ready.
Eulogist.
Is that, I don't know if I used that right. Eulogy? That's probably not a word.
No, it sounds great.
There is, you have a
I loved
eulogy
it.
for people that die. You have a eulogy.
I know
for them.
I know what a eulogy is, but is there
Okay.
eulogists? Is that
Like
an
a
actual-
person who says the eulogy? Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, I just don't know if that's an
I don't
actual
know.
term
I don't
or if
know.
I just made
I
that
don't know
up.
if that is. You might have.
Is a eulogist a title? Is that
Yeah,
a title
that's-
someone can
I don't
have?
know.
Yeah, who knows?
That's a good. Who knows?
All right, we'll move across to the fixture of the weekend. Arsenal Tottenham. Now this is a derby between two big teams. Usually we're not getting 0-0s here, so let's pray that keeps going like that. This is usually a game for the goals. Spurs, Arsenal. Who's the next team to win a trophy, Cam?
Oh, this is a tough question because I want the editors to go back in the pod. This is weeks and weeks, and this is before Christmas. This is before December. I said that you asked, will City win the quadruple? I said, no, they're going to win 3 trophies. The one being they're going to lose the cup against Tottenham. Do you remember that? You guys must
Yes.
all
No,
remember
I
that.
don't think you said that directly. That
I
they're
did
going
say
to lose
that.
the cup. You
No.
you forgot about the cup.
No.
You forgot it. Okay, well, I'll cue it up. I'll cue it up.
No.
You forgot about
Liam
the
can
cup.
remember,
I pointed out, and then
100%.
you're like, to cover your ass, you're like, oh yeah, they're gonna lose that one.
No way.
Oh, I
No way.
remember it.
Liam for sure. Yes, thank you, Bill. 100%. I said they're going to lose against Tottenham in the cup. 1,000 billion %.
I remember what
And-
Keegan said.
Oh my God, that's ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous.
I know we're not denying
Liam
you
for
said that.
sure.
It did come across maybe
Okay.
a little bit as, oh yeah, right. Oh yeah, well, they'll lose.
No, not at all.
Okay,
at all.
fair enough. So then your answer here has got to be Tottenham next trophy.
Exactly. That's what I was going for. It's Tottenham. I just can't believe that your Keegs tried to throw me under the bus with no knowledge of what's actually happening.
I was in the conversation.
Oh, you were there. Oh, I forgot that you were even in the pod at that point.
Didn't you just say Tottenham?
No, the
Between that rant and your Man City rant, you being paid by the word?
Yeah.
Pardon me? What was that, Bill?
He said between that rant and your Man City rant, you must be being paid by the word.
No. Oh my gosh. No, I for sure recall when you asked that I said they're going to win 3 trophies. And
By the word, he said no 4 times.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know what else to say because I said they're going to win the league and the FA Cup and the Champions League. So what other cup can they possibly win? It's the next cup coming up. And then Keegan mentioned that. So I don't know why.
Fair enough.
Anyway,
All right, Cam.
That is what it is.
Yeah,
But-
no, this will be a fun one. It's got the primetime Sunday slot. So yeah, Arsenal Spurs, North London derby usually has goals. Tune into that one for sure. All right, moving along, Manchester United. I know brother Keegs, big win over City. It was an awesome game. By the way, Luke Shaw, when's the last time you've seen a guy appear to be so slow, but literally never gets caught by anyone? And like he's dribbling with the ball, I'm like, he's gonna get caught, he's gonna get caught. And then guys that are supposed to be much faster just can't catch him. Isn't he awesome?
Yeah, it's the Luke Shaw paradox, honestly.
Because they can't get around him.
Yeah. They catch him. They just can't move around him. It's
that
Ivanovic
reminds
had
me
that
of?
a couple years ago.
Know who that reminds me of, Liam?
Who?
Larry Elton.
Larry Elton. That's another guy who
Good job.
didn't look fast,
Same
but
left
no one
back,
was catching him.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Larry Elton and Shaw would be a great fullback pairing.
Larry Elton doesn't really sound like a fullback to me. Doesn't really have that characteristic fullback vibe.
No, he was a right back, Thunder Bay Chill, and
Mhm.
Brazil U17 national team with Willian and the boys. I forget who else. A couple other big names in that team.
Thiago
Oh,
Silva?
there was
Marcelo.
Marcelo.
Marcelo, yeah. So there you go. I guess he got to play with Marcelo anyways. Not quite Luke Shaw, but decent left back in his own right. The thing is though, Keegs, when United wins these games and these big games, it's always games that don't really matter for anything more than just pride. Like the semifinal, they lost to City. They need to win in the Champions League. They lose to Leipzig. Is United actually going to start winning games that matter, or is it just going to keep winning games that are kind of don't really matter, but just keep the fans happy a little bit? But it's kind of, they're tricking us, Keegan, I think. I feel cheated. They're tricking us.
Well, I mean, fortunately, we won't have to wait around for too long to find out. Next week they got
AC Milan, yeah.
obviously AC second leg, and then on the weekend they have Leicester in the FA Cup quarterfinal. So, I mean, I imagine Luke Shaw will play in one of those games, and United will win one of those games.
They'll win the Shaw game. There you go. Sandy, you did see Henderson's attempt at a save today, right? What's going on there? Just kind of
I didn't watch the game, but I just saw the last second goal, so I went to check it out, and I had to take like a quadruple glance at it. Everyone, the commentators were like, "Oh, what a header!" And I was like, my first instinct was like, that was the middle of the net. And I saw it a few more times, like, yeah, that was literally in the middle of the net. Henderson flopped and then threw his hand up.
Yeah,
he was doing the Matrix,
He
there,
coulda
trying to
caught
dodge
that.
the ball, and then trying to no luck with Palma. Yeah, I don't know. All you Man United fans are proclaiming Henderson as the savior, the next one, but
yeah, that one hurt our
worrying
case.
times if you go like that.
That one did hurt our case, and I'm surprised Marco didn't text me being like, "Oh, but De Gea is the problem" or something like that. If he was in the group chat, he would have for sure.
You would have.
Yeah.
There's someone on the water in Manchester, I guess. Ederson
Yeah.
has track too.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, back on to Liverpool again, and I've got an email queued up from a loyal listener here. This is a fun one. This is from loyal listener. Dear BB and BPL, on the last pod you discussed how Connor Cody of Wolves, pardon me, was see, now it's a thing now. But Connor Cody of Wolves was playing so well, he deserved the fancy pronunciation Coady. Does this work the other way around? If so, then I think Liverpool's Sadio Mane should be Sad Man. Because I think it's Pokemon. Cody's evolved to Coady, and the opposite of evolved. I don't know if there's a opposite for that. Unevolved version
Evolved.
of Sadio Mane is Sad Man. That's a great email from a loyal listener.
That was a great email.
Yeah. What do you think, Dad? Is are Mane and Salah, Sad Man and Mo Salah both playing on Liverpool next season?
Oh, that's a good question. I heard a little rumor this week that the reason Mane's not going down in the box anymore is because he just wants Salah to take the penalties.
That's a good one too. Yeah.
So, I mean, if it is getting to that, then that's tough times. I think most of the Liverpool fans figured that we were going to do well this year, maybe win the league and Champions League, and we'd probably then sell Sadio Mane to either Barcelona or Real Madrid, and then we'd get Kylian Mbappe in his place. But I think that's just more and more of a pipe dream. I don't know if Mbappe would go there unless they have Champions League football. But I always thought Salah, would be the one that they would sell. I think that he'd have a lot of value. But how do you sell the guy that's getting all your goals?
Yeah.
You know, even when Liverpool are playing bad, like he does get the goals, but I don't know. It's hard to say. Like how many times has he missed the net recently, and how many times there's a wide open Sadio Mane 5 yards away that he doesn't pass to, instead trying to do something fancy. So I don't know if they'll be playing. Who's going to buy him though? Sadio Mane or Salah right now, because nobody has the money.
Yeah, I guess. I'm sure teams, if they dug deep into those pockets, I'm sure someone would be able to pitch up some
You're
money.
probably right, because last summer it looked like, well, who knows? Because last summer I think they spent a lot more money than they thought, but I also think they were expecting to have fans in by November, right, into stadiums. So who knows? Real Madrid doesn't have money. Barcelona doesn't have money. No, he's not going to go to Bayern Munich. Maybe he'd go to PSG. Maybe they'll buy him when Mbappe goes to Liverpool, like as a half payment. So,
yeah, I guess we'll see. My last Liverpool thing for you is, and I'm going to start a sentence off, and I want you to finish the sentence for me with whatever the first thing is that pops into your head. It can be a player, it can be a manager, it can be an era, a year. But so Liverpool haven't looked this bad since
probably 7 years ago, 6 years ago. Roy Hodgson.
Roy Hodgson. There you go. That was the leading betting favorite that I thought you were gonna say.
Yeah.
I also had Skirtle on the board.
Martin Skirtle for sure, man.
I had Jose Enrique, Brendan Rodgers before he was good. I don't know who else. Keegan would be the epitome. Paul Konchesky maybe. The epitome. Milan Jovanovic. Some of those Liverpool signings that were a little rough back in the day.
Julian Dix.
Andy Carroll.
Andy Carroll, yeah. Yeah. Although I thought Carroll, I liked Carroll on Liverpool. He scored a couple headers that the headers he scored would just keep me coming back. He had one against Man City, and then the one for England was just one of the best headers.
Could have stayed healthy. Could have been all.
Yeah, exactly. If he could have stayed healthy.
Then, boys.
Him and Jack Wilshere both.
Amazing. You got a body like that. You look like a professional wrestler, and you can't stay healthy.
Yeah, maybe he should have tried his hand in WWE.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a post career thing. Shaquille O'Neal was on wrestling the other day, getting put through a table. So sure, Andy Carroll could.
Really?
Swing it.
Yeah.
Hey, is that line 475 for Liverpool to win?
No, that's for Wolves
That's
to win.
The Wolves. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I thought maybe that's how bad it was getting.
Hasn't gone that bad yet. No. Yeah, they are a little bit higher than they usually are, though. 1.72. Makes sense, though. I actually think they win this game against Wolves. And on that note, why don't we actually, instead of me just talking and flapping my gums about it, why don't we get into the bets, guys? Marco was the best last week. He's obviously not on. Dad, I'll give you a little bit to warm up and get those bets ready. So why don't we go to Cam, who was plus 40 something last week?
Yeah, of course. So my first one was a $5 bets. I had great success last week betting $20, 4 bets. So I'm going to do it again. The first one is a draw between Arsenal and Tottenham. $5 pays out $17.50. I had a 3-team parlay. I have, which I don't know. I think it's pretty good. It's Crystal Palace to beat West Brom. It's Aston Villa to beat Newcastle, and it's Southampton to beat Brighton. And this is when Southampton was 3.0, because I think now they're 2.9. But I got them when they're 3.0, so that's nice.
What a snag.
I know. I also parlayed 3 teams for the over. So I have over 2.5 goals in the Fulham City game, over 2.5 goals in the Wolves Liverpool game, and over 2.5 goals in the Leeds Chelsea game. And for $5. And my last one, I have 2 goal scorers. I have Dominic Calvert-Lewin for Everton, and I have Raheem the Dream for Man City scoring. Both, again, void if the player does not start.
You better hope he doesn't get an easy chance.
Yeah, he's not. He's gonna get a hard chance and score. But yeah, void. That should be my catchphrase. Void if player does not start. So click that box, listeners. But yeah, that was it. 4 bets. Looking to make some money like last week and keep us in the positive.
There you go, Coach Cam. Not bad, not bad. Let's go over to Sandy, who himself had a plus 30 week. He's back in the single-digit negatives. They're saying pod anchor, people whispering it behind his back, saying it to his face even, or getting to his head, and he's upped his game. Sandy, what do you got this week? And are you going to keep it going?
Yeah, well, you can't get over the anchor, boys. The anchor saves your life.
Anchor's an important part of every boat.
This might be a 1 step forward, 2 steps back kind of situation for me because I hate the slate this week.
Hey, how many times have you loved it in the past though, and it's gone the other way? So
fair enough. Okay, so I'm gonna go with a Newcastle and Palace winner draw parlay. I'm gonna go with the Everton Burnley. Both teams to score. No, they will not both score. Well, gotcha there.
You did.
You had me in the first half.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with I also got the Wolves Liverpool over, and I'm gonna ride with.
Hang on, Wolves Liverpool over.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of a zag here.
A lot of his zags.
Jota's going to score against his old team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keegs, I had that same bet. I don't know if you were listening when I was speaking, but
and Kiana Hover is gonna score against his old team. Actually, he might be on loan, so he can't play against Liverpool.
He probably doesn't play that much anyway.
Anyways, carry on, Sandy.
Yeah, someone's got to give. Eventually, Liverpool win a game. Let's score some goals. Hoping it'll be this week. And I'm gonna ride with my boys from Southampton. They haven't won in, I don't know, seems like months. This could be the week they get back in the W
2 games
department.
Maybe they won 2 games ago, Sandy, if I remember.
Okay.
They beat Sheffield. Che Adams Thunderbolt. Sheffield doesn't really count. Doesn't really count as a real team though. All right, Southampton at home. Don't hate it. Don't hate it.
Yeah, I was listening to the Football Daily Pod, and they no free advertisement, but and then they said that since Klopp and Wilder gotten a bit of their bust up since their games, since then Sheffield have won 4 games and Liverpool have won 3 games.
Yeah, that's back in December, eh? Yeah. Jeez. You guys are in even worse form than the worst team in the league, Dad. That must hurt.
Oh, it's terrible.
Well, I saw something like Liverpool's in relegation form since Christmas or something like that.
If you're losing more games than Sheffield United, you have
yeah, exactly. Yeah, no kidding. Hey, I won my Liverpool top at Christmas bet at like 3-1. So I would thank God they made it that far because that was by the skin of my teeth.
What were the odds of a Liverpool top at Christmas and not to finish in the top 4 would have been?
Yeah, no kidding. That would have been a heck of a parlay. I guess I'll get my bets going now. I have got, similar to you, Cam, a draw in the Arsenal-Tottenham game. I've got Leeds in the morning to beat Chelsea. Just, you like to cheer for Leeds against Chelsea. And then I've got, this is my donation to Bet365 this week. It's Everton, Leicester, and Liverpool parlay for $5. Chalk parlays that never hit. So there you guys go for that one. But I'm taking money back with these 2 winner draw parlays. Southampton or draw, Tottenham or draw, $10 on that. Newcastle or draw, and West Brom or draw. Can't believe I'm doing it, but I think both those games could finish 0-0. I was honestly thinking about a 0-0 parlay for the Newcastle and West Brom games because we spoke about it a couple weeks ago, but not quite ready for that. So that's what I've got. Keegs, you want to give us yours?
Yeah, sure. Tottenham Arsenal game. A draw is what you bet when you don't know what's going to happen, and you don't. You're not smart enough to pick a side, so you just say draw because you don't know. Yeah. So I'll take Tottenham in that game. And then Brighton's going to beat Southampton because I think this is a super important game for Brighton. And so it's more of just they need this. So they're giving me a good vibe there. Villa over Newcastle. Both teams injury problems.
Can I interrupt for a sec? Do you think, Southampton, like the team that gives up the goals, do you think Brighton will score 3 but only have an expected goals of 0.5?
The ultimate zag.
Yeah. Sorry if I threw you there.
He can't
Honestly,
think
I don't
he
really
can't walk and chew gum at the same time, Dad.
Well, because they 0.3 is their usual expected goals and they never score. So this time they'll make only one shitty chance, get 2 own goals and win 3-1.
Bednarik
seem like
loves
something-
an own goal.
Yeah.
Maybe this
Doesn't
is a
seem
get right game for
right.
Brighton. It'll open the floodgates for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I agree. Keegs, go.
Under parlay, Wolves in Liverpool, and Arsenal Tottenham under in both those games, and then an informed Gareth Bale to score at any time. And you know what, Liam? Since you said it last week, I won a bet stealing from someone who mentioned it and then didn't take it. Yeah, I'll take 0-0 parlay between the Newcastle Villa and Newcastle Villa and Crystal Palace West Brom, and stay tuned for the odds while my dad can finish this up.
All right, I'm looking forward to that. Dad, you had some tough times betting in the past, but
yeah, I think both times I've been on, I've been negative. So
third time's the charm.
Yeah, Sandy's the only bigger anchor than me, I think, for the pod. So I think Palace, West Brom, Newcastle, Villa, both games under $5 on each game. Not too exciting. I didn't really find it a lot of exciting bets for this. And I'm also not a betting man, really. So I'm hoping that I will do one parlay that should be a sure one. Leicester to win or draw, parlayed with City to win or draw, $5. So I don't know what I'll win, probably a nickel. So maybe a quarter. But United West Ham, is that considered a big game now since it's like 2 teams in the top 4? So shouldn't that be a 0-0 game then?
I guess the way United play in those games, yep.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But I'm just going to go with the draw. I actually think it's going to be 1-1. I don't think it'll be another 0-0. But I did $5 for the draw. And the last sure thing is Liverpool to win $10. They're playing on the road, so they have a chance.
That was my thinking as well, putting them in the parlay. All righty. Some good banter, some good bets, guys. Maybe the last thing I was going to say, and I know we had Cam calling out Bill last week. It speaks to the professionalism of both of them, that they can come on the same podcast, get the whole podcast done, and do it well. But I did want to offer a chance, Bill, if you wanted to maybe give Cam something back after, he said he wouldn't lose to you in fantasy, then you beat him. He said you got lucky. You have any response to Cameron Pettit?
That's true.
You know what? I'll just let my fantasy team do the talking.
That's okay with me.
They're whispering. They're whispering right now.
Yeah, they are whispering a little bit, but
I have voices in my head when I go to bed. It's Bill's fantasy team.
Yeah,
it's Gareth Bale. It's the Gareth Bale Adrian pickup, Bill. That got
I think
me.
with all the injuries my fantasy team has had this year, I'm in pretty good shape. So I must be doing something right. I wasn't top of the league and traded my team away when they panicked because they lost one game.
Who did that?
When Cam blows this fancy title, we'll have to do a podcast talking about the all-time collapses.
What? I didn't do that. What do you mean, Bill? Who did I trade away?
I think Chris Pike's team is going to become Bill's in your head instead of Ole or Lamps' in Ole's head. It's going to be Bill's in Cam's head.
Yeah, Bill's in Cam's head. Right now you are, because I'm not really sure what you're referring to. I didn't trade any really good players, to be honest.
Yeah, Rashford sucks.
I'm fine with taking 2 Manchester City players, defending players. So
did you trade Vardy?
Yeah, I got Raheem the Dream, who has more points than Vardy, and so
okay,
Raheem the Dream.
Factually,
all right.
You can fact check me. I check it every day.
Anything else, boys?
Oh, that's it.
The parlays odds are 67-1. So y'all go ahead and put half a unit on that.
What was that?
50
250?
cents?
250, yeah.
Half a
Half a
unit.
unit. All right. Love to hear it. Thanks for listening, guys. That was a nice podcast. Thanks for doing it, you guys. Thanks for listening, listeners. And yeah, keep getting in touch on the email, on the text. I think maybe we'll reach out to Dave Hoyer, try and get him on next week. So Dave, if you're listening, let's do it, buddy. You'll be into the Fantasy FA Cup semifinals, perhaps. We got that going on this weekend for fantasy. Me and Sandy, me versus Sandy, Keegan versus Cam. So there'll be some banter on the next week with regards to fantasy. Bill dumped him out of the FA Cup last time, so he'll be sitting and watching this one. But
concentrating on the league.
Yeah, he's pulling a Leicester.
Making that push for Europe.
Yeah,
Concentrating on the league and then
Exactly.
losing in the league.
Yeah.
Right after.
Ooh, there you go. Cam at it again.
No, that wasn't for Bill. That was for Leicester.
Has to get the
Yeah.
last word.
That was for Leicester. That was for
Yeah.
Leicester. That was for
Always
Leicester.
got to get the last word.
Changing his mind again.
Leicester lost, and then they just lose in the league
Yeah.
like
I
last
know.
week.
Cover.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Banter bets and BPL weekly bets, banter, and yeah, I guess I just said that in the title. So thanks for listening. Stay safe and bet safer.